right, give thanks. Okay, something new for today, bringing massive value, as I would say, all types of ways. Today, gonna look into something new. What I do is try new things, see how it works, make everything better over time, just to increase my mind frame. So, the time I save and the methodology is getting better every time. Looking at agent swarms, ultra mode, all types of different ways to use multiple agents. And I'm learning over time that certain ways work better than others. Certain times I deploy a lot of agents and I do it in a method that burns up a lot of tokens and I might save time. But each time I do it, I find ways that I can use it better, get a better understanding of like what tasks require multiple agents and how to deploy those multiple agents to make it better just through Claude Code, just through planning it through one window. So today I'm about to launch about 10 different agents to build something for me all at the same time. And it's not just building, it's also strategizing, and it's going to set up a plan so I can essentially deploy multiple agents, whatever it is, what I think in this case about once a week to do a process for me that I'm going to make better over time and get locked in. So this is setting it up, and you can follow along, do the same thing too. It's up to you. So you know what this is. One session becomes the boss of 100 agents working in parallel. And I am a new developer, new coder, learning as I go, just getting used to the flow. This is all brand new. You know, this is a new feature that's been coming along. And I used this similar feature before for basically like auditing and finding bugs and doing cleanup stuff. But now I'm looking more into strategic stuff, into like the marketing side of it, into the business process, the stuff that I really enjoy doing the most, building out systems for business. All right, so I just set this up. Essentially, you can see with Claude, um, I gave it an explanation of what I want to do, like the process I want to do each week, and how I want to get that set up, how I want to collect the data, what I want the data to do, how I want to track it over time. Essentially, I was saying this is all for marketing and strategic purposes for my Stack of Eight business, which is the investment education platform to help people find their own unique investment strategies so they can become a better investor, know themselves better over time in the process. So I'm looking at, you know, the results first from Claude, just getting to the like the very basic stuff, and it's letting me know, you know, what kind of things make sense, what kind of things don't make sense based off the plan I told it. And I made sure to specifically tell it, you know, this is not a plan mode, this is more like a strategy session. And while I'm using it, you're gonna like push back on things that don't make sense, let me know what makes sense. And essentially what I'm gonna do is deploy multiple agents to get this done. So keep that in mind, and before you actually get started building anything, make sure that I let you know how we're going to deploy these agents. So first, it gets a good idea of like what I'm trying to do, um, letting it know that I'm trying out this new method of deploying agents, telling me this is a good test case for it. So it's giving me its first plan off the basic stuff I told it, letting me know things like, you know, if I have too few agents, um, one agent will be juggling unrelated things, each shallowly, too many agents, fake parallelism, the agents will overlap and duplicate. Plus, you know, that's like the whole point of what I have, why I did this in the first place, is to save tokens and time. So this is, you know, dynamic workflow. So Claude will write a short script that fans out the independent agents in parallel. Each returns a structured spec, then a final pass synthesizes them into one coherent result. So Claude and myself will work together to make sure that the result is coherent. And something like a bug hunt, like I was doing before, I don't think it made that much sense to have me as a human in the loop. But for this marketing process, I think it does. So this is a reason why like I would use a dynamic workflow instead of ultra mode, which I've used before. The main reason I want to be that human in the loop, and also like I was saying before, to minimize tokens and time. So it's giving me what it recommends to have, how many agents, and like each task for the agent for this marketing planning process. And everything looked pretty good to me. So starting with like 7 agents, and then it's letting me know like how that will reply to a basically like a cron job, like a scheduled scan, and it's telling me basically like once this gets down, once this is planned and the foundation is set up, I shouldn't need multiple agents to do what I need to do with this cron job, as long as I set it up right from the start. So I let it know that I thought this was a good idea to do that, and then I added kind of the second layer on here based on like all that information. I realized there was more to this plan. Let it know what that was, gave it my ideas for this plan, and it's telling me that makes sense. It says like, part of this was like only half of the workflow you saw, doing this like strategizing and planning, what was missing. So I added that stuff, which is a big part of me telling it not to just go run with, the original plan, to like let me verify that everything is right before it spawns all these different agents. Okay, so now it's letting me know what these new agents should be, and I can see this makes sense, so I let it know that it's good. So now I'm going to give it the green light and it'll launch the workflow. I'm giving you the green light. I'm ready for you to launch this workflow. I've got it on auto mode, so I do not have to manually verify each step that it has. I've already gone through, and I trust that I've used it enough to trust that I've given it enough information. And something like this, I'm thinking I don't need to do like a plan MD. Um, each one of these agents has its own specific job. This is like a one-time thing. Certain things I'm understanding. It's not so much of a build. Some stuff it's building, like how it's going to collect this information for the marketing in the future. But other stuff it's more just strategizing. And I'll find out if this theory is right after it's done. When it's done, if indeed like everything worked out, then I'll know like if I'm doing this kind of process for this kind of strategizing in the future, that I don't need to have it create a plan MD doc for this. If there is problems, then I'll know that it is necessary. Take that extra step, do the plan MD document. All right, so it got started, and it looks like what it did was it automatically built in a plan MD, called it build plan MD, and it's letting me know what all the agents are doing, just verifying that it's the same process that I already set up. And essentially they're all running in the background. It's telling me I can watch it live at /workflow, so I'm going to try that out. Okay, and it's giving me a view like this, letting me know how many tokens each one of these are using. And I personally like this better than having multiple terminals open. Having like, in this case, it'd be about 9 different terminals open. It's like pretty much impossible for me to follow all those different terminals anyway. And with this, if I have any specific questions on how anything worked afterwards, I can just, give it to this one terminal, and it will help me understand how it synthesized all this data, how the data was collected, if I have any questions based on anything like that. All right, so the design is all done. Each agent is under 100,000 tokens. I'm guessing this is going to be about 600 to 700,000 tokens it took to do the design. And the time was major because, each one of those agents, if I ran it one at a time, would have taken about 9 times longer. Now it's doing the synthesizing, and I'm guessing that's going to take maybe another 100 to 200,000 more tokens. And I just realized while I was doing this, I can hit the up and down arrows and go through to see what it's doing. So it's done with the design, move on to the synthesize, and it showed me about 100,000 tokens so far. So far, I would have to say it's turning out pretty much how I thought, except for one major thing is that the 9 agents finished their job in about 4 minutes, and the one agent that's doing the synthesizing of the results from all the 9 agents has been taking almost 15 minutes now. But I also estimated pretty correctly on the tokens. It was all under about 100K for each agent, and synthesizing I estimated would be about 100 to 200K. Done. 27 minutes 51 seconds, 10 out of 10 agents. Only took about 3 or 4 minutes to do the design, and I was showing that only took up about less than 100K tokens per agent. Synthesis took about 25 minutes. Only took about 228,000 tokens. So let's see what this result is. Okay, so going through the result, it basically built 2 documents that it put into this project. One is going to be the weekly run book, and one is the build plan. So essentially, there's more that it wants to build to implement this stuff, but this is everything that I needed to get done. And it's all saved into the document. Usually, the results would just be pasted out into the terminal, but I like this better how it's like put into a document. And once I get this built out correctly, then these documents, I can delete them. They don't need to be there. I can keep them there if I want them, but for the most part, I mean, this is just me plus a team of 10 AI agents. And it would have taken a whole company, like a whole marketing department, to basically do this. And I think in the past, before AI, it would have taken at least a week to get all this stuff done. And essentially now it's got all this stuff done and it's set up a process. So it's going to be super easy for me to do this every week. And I'm going to be doing the marketing manually anyway, but it's just going to be automating all the things that I need to do for research, just making it so like I'm just doing the CEO, the top level of marketing manager, which is what I wanted to do. So this is what building a business from zero with AI actually looks like now, you know, and I could have done it I could have done it in a different way, but I'm getting better at understanding how to orchestrate this stuff to make it quicker. And I think I could have used multiple agents in other ways too, but it would have done more of the planning itself. But I'm understanding better now how it plans, and I wanted to walk through manually how it was planning it and the way it was going to execute the decisions. So I'm glad I did that. And pretty much, I mean, this is pretty good, and I'll just keep building it from there. So make sure you stay in tune. I'm building live. Go ahead, follow the build. And I've got a free starter kit. Should be in the description. Should be a link. You can just sign up. You'll get weekly emails, keep you in touch with what I'm doing each week, let you know new things I'm figuring out as I go, staying dedicated to this, starting to really get to the cutting edge of where technology is. It's been a long learning process, but I'm glad I stuck through it. And now I'm really starting to like build like way bigger and better things than I could ever imagine.